Yeah.
I'm very particular about my hair, and as somebody who had a shaved head in the Marine Corps, always had like the same, not high and tight, but very much like shaved sides, very styled up top, like not very long. This is the longest my hair has ever been in my entire life.
Wow.
If you would have told me 3 years ago, hey, you're gonna have a mullet in your 30s,
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, I won't. That's stupid.
Mullets are wild that they've come back. I'm not gonna hate on your hair in particular, but like I see a lot of them, and I'm like, are we doing this?
Okay, funny you say that.
Every day, I'm like, are we doing this?
So
obviously we are. The answer.
And here, what's funny about that is at the wedding I was at about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
There were 2 other guys there that were trying to grow mullets.
And
they came up to me and they were like, you have the best mullet I have ever seen.
Oh, hey.
So I got 2 compliments.
There we go.
So, but like,
I think a mullet's what a weird hair choice. Like, it's just like it's really like the male accessory of hair. Like,
well, here's the thing, right? Like, the reason I have a mullet right now is because this is straight up. This is a science experiment. I want to know what happens when my hair keeps growing.
Okay.
Because my hair is very thick.
Yeah.
And it is very, very straight.
Yeah, but you obviously keep cutting the top.
Oh, well, the top is different. I'm talking about the back.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, top is different. But, like, I want to know, like, what this happens. There's a good chance that, like, in 6 months, I will go back to very short hair.
There's going to be a length where you're just sick of it.
Oh, I'm almost there.
Well, that's what happens to me, right? I just get sick of it. Like, hair gets... It's I can feel my mustache now, and I'm like, do I like this? Like, every day, I'm like, do I like this still? And I feel like usually there's a day that I wake up and I'm like, no, we're done. We're done here.
Feeling hair on the back of my neck further down than I'm used to is like,
weird.
Especially when I'm showering and it's wet, I'm like,
oh yeah, you probably think it's like The Grudge.
I don't
know. Dude, someone should make a Grudge spoof called The Mullet, and it's just like this guy who doesn't realize that the mullet keeps growing back or something. Like, hell yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah,
just like
I won't be surprised though. At some point this upcoming year, I will go back to having probably short hair.
Who is the actor who would star in The Grudge of the Mullet? On 3. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Tom
Gilbert
Holland.
Gottfried.
Oh. Very different. You ready to clap?
I'm ready to clap.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the UnPop podcast. We still have not died.
Thank God. Or whoever.
Once again, if you want this podcast done live at your funeral, email us at mypoweris@gmail.com. We will podcast live at your funeral. No, but it's funny. I might do it periodically. I am your Capitan Todo Siempre, and possibly at your funeral. Kevin Miner, him. With me as always is
the chef. OD Matthews, the chef. I already said that. Them cooking up the content.
Hell yeah.
We're here.
We're cooking up so much content. Let's get right into the shit. Creature Commandos. Have you no? No, we're doing top music. Let's do top music. We're doing last week we did our top 5 movies, film, TV. That was a very hard list to do. This was infinitely harder for me. Infinitely harder.
You know what was really hard about this for me?
I didn't even want to do a top 5. I just wanted to talk about music and music from the year.
I struggled because it was really hard for me to find all the music that I liked that actually came out this year. Because at first I thought this was going to be really easy, but then I realized a lot of the songs came out late last
2023.
year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and okay, I was the same way because I wasn't going to play with it the same way that awards shows do, where like it's like it actually came out in December of 2023, but it counts for the next year or whatever because the run went into it. Like, no, fuck that. No, it was only stuff that came out this year. Otherwise, I'd be saying Sleep Token again, but that album came out in 2023.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Yeah, it was hard. Do you want to do it the same way we did last time? Do you want to do the top 5 starting, and then I'll do top 5 or top 5 worst?
We'll do the same way.
Bottom 5.
Actually, you know what? No, let's
reverse
switch it. Let's
We're
reverse
switching
it.
roles.
You
like
go best first. I'll go worst first because listeners, you are gonna have way more opinions on music, and I guarantee. I'm looking at my top 5. Like a majority of my stuff is like very mainstream.
I have so many opinions.
Yeah,
this is a podcast about not having stance and opinions, and that's our stance and opinion.
Well, if this, I mean, you know, I had a
podcasts should have less stances and opinions, and that's my stance and opinion.
I'm excited for some of my honorable mentions because I think that's where I'm gonna have more eclectic taste. So, kicking it.
Number 5. Here we go from the top.
Doing part 2.
Make it drop. No, it's Kalani. I love Kalani. She's a wonderful R&B artist. She's been around for a long time. She wrote It Was Good Till It Wasn't. That album was actually probably one of my top albums the year that it came out. I think 2021 maybe, 2020, 2021. Absolutely phenomenal album. She continues to deliver banger after banger in the R&B world, and I feel like she's someone who, depending on what coast you're on, is more popular. I feel like she's more West Coast than East Coast. I don't come across a ton of people who are like, oh, I fucking love Kalani over here. But she's always been great. She did that song Gangsta for famous movie Suicide Squad. Not the Suicide Squad, the bad Suicide Squad.
That's the 2016.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what
that was
you're
actually
about.
Like her breakout song was
It's a
on
good song.
that. Yeah. And then after that, she kind of blew up a little bit. I really love her new album, though. Really, 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 really good. After Hours is a banger of a song. And it drops a nice little rhythmic and melodic tribute to Sean Paul. So that was good. What's your 5?
Number 5 for me is going to be, have you ever heard of the artist Miles Smith?
Yes.
So he released a little album late this year called A Minute. I fucking love it. It is just such a nice little short jam. Perfect mixture of like happy songs, sad songs, you know.
Nice.
Just, I really like the title song, A Minute. Just good. Really, really good. I like him. I've discovered him this year with Stargazing. And just fell in love with his music, his vibe. It very much is in that like Noah Kahn, Judah and the Lion vibe for me. So it's
your folky, your American folk vibe, your Midwest.
I mean, I very much when it comes to music, I have doors, and depending on my mood, depends on what genre door I'm opening.
I think a lot of people are that way. I mean, we have more. Like we were talking about this last week. We have more music than ever that comes out every year. You know, like
that's
you
why
have
it's so
more
hard
access to it than ever.
Because
you know,
I was like, do I do albums? Do I do singles? Because there's singles that I liked, but there's you know, it's like it's a lot.
Well, I picked artists because of albums more than anything else, which brings me to number 4. Fever 333. They are phenomenal. Jason Aylin Butler's newer group. He was originally the singer of Let Live. Let Live was so good. I saw them 7 times live in a year. Like really went out of my way to see them. I saw them anytime they were opening, and I saw them headline. I think that was like 2014, 2015. Don't quote me. No, 2014 into 2015. It was a year span. I saw them 7 times. It was insane. I love them. He is a phenomenal lyricist. Their newest album that just came out this year. Don't quote me on it because I had my brain's overloaded today. But I just put them. Their new album's absolutely phenomenal. They have a really great song on it called Swing. That's been like my fucking jam for weeks now in the gym. And then they also were featured on the Arcane soundtrack, which I did not expect.
Wait, what song do they do?
Look it up. But they were featured on the Arcane soundtrack, and they are fucking phenomenal. Like, and I do want to give like a quick tip of the cap to the Arcane soundtrack for grabbing artists. Like, I was pleasantly surprised to see
Hellfire.
Yeah,
that's a good one,
dude. I was pleasantly surprised to see the plethora of realms of artists that exist on that soundtrack. Absolutely killer soundtrack. What's your number 4?
So my number 4 is, and I might butcher her name, and I apologize.
Okay.
I believe it's pronounced Doechii. Golly. Doechii. Her album Alligator Bites Never Heal.
Oh, she's killer.
Nissan Altima is my favorite song from that track or that album.
Yeah.
Her flow.
So
and I didn't really mention her in my jams at all this year because she just I just didn't realize that she's kind of just been there.
Yeah.
Her fucking flow is, I love the way that she writes her bars because it's very much like this line flows with this line and then the flow kind of changes and then it's
spoken word poetry.
Oh, it's so fucking good. It's an incredible album. Very vulgar album. I love the hatred in it. It's really good.
She's more of an artist than she is I would say even a lyricist, because the music that she writes is just a component of the performance piece, and she is so good that she has actually gotten a lot of interest from Cole Kushner, one of my favorite music industry personalities, the guy who runs Dissect. And he started dissecting some of the Easter eggs that she's throwing into live performances, because she's throwing in Easter eggs in live performances to classic artists and other things that contributed. It really is the essence of that genre, like R&B, hip hop, spoken word poetry, to harken back to someone else, add it to your mix, and see if you can make something even better with it.
How do you say her name?
Doechii.
Doechii.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? That sounds almost like French.
I have not looked it up. I'm not.
No,
me
either. But she's really good.
No, she's great.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me. We talked to her this year. She had her first EP come out this year. It's Natalie Carr, baby.
Yeah.
She's got that album Rotten. Carr. Yep. I love Natalie Carr.
She's in my honorable mentions, actually.
Good. Good. She should be. She also dropped a sick banger trying to get Wendy's to pay attention to her. Which I thought was one of the more, it's not like that was the point of it. She definitely just had fun with it, and Wendy's had put out you know how corporations engage with the public in a really weird way now. Wendy's put out you won't write a song about the number 6 or whatever, and she was like, no, I'm gonna do it. She was like, I see you, Wendy's Twitter bot, and I will do it. Yeah, which was good. Not only that, I mean, she and I text each other every once in a while, just saying hey, what are you grateful for today? And she's such a good person, you know. She's somewhat we've never met in person, but we've had obviously a ton of interaction since she even started as an artist, and just watching her grow, watching her mature, watching her become a better version of herself year in, year out has been absolutely phenomenal from both a friend and listener standpoint.
And next year we'll have to change that meeting in person and do a three-person.
I'm down with that. Yeah, let's do that. That would be great. I would love to just I owe her the biggest friend hug ever. You know. And
I still need to actually formally speak to her for the first time. I've only ever listened to her music.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I've never even spoken to her, but I do love her music. So it's kind of funny.
She's great.
Friend of the show, but I've never talked to her.
Number 3, friend of the show, not a voting. Not yet.
There's a difference.
All right.
But Natalie, we can be friends.
You can.
Want to be?
You can.
My number 3 is Judah and the Lion and their album The Process.
We were leaning into the folky stuff. All right.
Yeah, this year was that's actually the last folky one.
Okay.
It's very actually it's folky, R&B, folky, kind of R&B, and then obviously kind of the order of mine. The Process, Judah and the Lion, love them a lot. A smaller band, but this album is all about the stages of grief.
Yep.
And it's just it's really well done. I think their lyrics are really beautiful. Just really good album. Really good sound.
Yep.
Just all around a really surprise hit for me with this album. I was surprised at how much I actually was enjoying listening to it through and through, and each stage is broken up into 3 songs kinda.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was nice to be I can just listen to these 3 songs in a row and get what I need. It's just it's a really good one.
Interesting to see a Christian band on your top 5.
I didn't know they were Christian.
Judah and the Lion, bro.
I don't think they're Christian.
All right.
I'm gonna look that up.
All right. I mean, not that they are specifically a Christian band, but yeah, that's the reference, man. That's a biblical reference.
Yeah, they're not Christian.
Oh, okay. I was just all right, well, that's a biblical reference.
I don't know where the Lion name.
Judah. That's a specific.
They're from Tennessee.
That's a specific Jesuit reference.
Well, I thought the same thing, but the lead singer's name is actually Judah.
Oh yeah, of course. All right. So
anyways.
Number 2. This is where I start focusing in on artists who are in bands. Number 2 for me is Manuel Gardner Fernandez. He is a solo artist. He plays a lot of really crazy, amazing guitar. He was featured on multiple albums this year. He is also the lead singer-songwriter of the band Unprocessed. They were one of my most played this year on my Spotify Wrapped. They have the album and everything in between, which I probably listened to front to back way too many times. It starts with the song Hell, ends with the song Purgatory, which, yes, are two different places. And it just the way that it weaves the entire album, like the guitar work on it, the rhythmic work, like just the singing and screaming and crazy chugging and like breakdown blast beats that aren't breakdowns entirely. They're just fucking heavy parts, like just so good. Yeah. And like he's one of those artists, Unprocessed probably released their first single like 2014, 2015, like their first single like 2014, 2015, that time. And then have just like, it's been 10 years and he's evolved so much as a guitar player and like singer-songwriter. Yeah, absolutely. I need to see them the next time they come around. Like that's on my radar for next year for concerts. Like wherever they are, that's what I want.
Totally.
Yep. Number 2.
Number 2 for me is Childish Gambino's
Oh,
Bando
yeah.
in the Stone.
That was good. That's on my
Bando
honorable
Stone.
mentions.
Just, I didn't think so. I've never really listened to Childish Gambino before.
Really?
His music never really did it for me. I'm a big fan of Donald Glover. But his music just never really clicked with me. But this album, start to finish, just became one of my all-time favorites this year.
I'm a big old school Gambino fan. I do like this album a lot too, but I'm a big old school Gambino. I ordered the Camp CD, you know, like I was listening to Because the Internet as it was dropping, like the singles, and like even back then, because people would like illegally find and download songs to leak, like the leaked songs that were coming out for those albums I was in on. So yeah, big Gambino fan, but yeah, killer album this year.
Yeah, I think this is the last one, it seems like.
Yes, he said it was. Well, he said it was the last one for Childish Gambino. It is the end of that project. That doesn't mean it's the end of him making music. It just means it's the end of that project. I think that's a good move.
He's directing and writing and producing a lot more on the TV side with
Mr. and
Atlanta,
Mrs. Smith.
with his brother.
That's killer. He's crushing it.
I think, yeah, I would like to see him more in front of the camera, but I think that his work behind the camera has been just phenomenal as well. I mean, we'll see him in the Community movie next year.
We will.
So,
which will be great.
I'm excited.
Number 1 this year, good friend of mine, Andrew Michael Wells. There's no way he couldn't be my number 1. The dude has had one hell of a year. Idola released their most well-received record to date. It is their 5th album, right? Great Glass Elephant, Degeneratera, To Speak to Listen, The Architect, and now Eviscerate. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. It's their 5th album. They've been killer the entire time. They don't have a song that I don't like. He's such a great songwriter. He's been a member of Dance Gavin Dance for a very long time. This year stepped up into the spot as Tillian Pearson was being excused from the band to be the lead singer of Dance Gavin Dance. Released 2 singles with them. He's still writing. Idola is actually going to drop another album right at the beginning of next year, which is it's done now. Like it's in the final processes of being finished completely. It's fully recorded. Not only that, he's like one of the few people in that genre of like post-hardcore who's really embraced just like a healthy message and healthy lifestyle. Like he's all about, personal empowerment and being a good person to the people in your life and being stronger than the things that like would make you negative in moments.
How do you spell their band name?
EIDOLA, Idola. They are like, I would say at this point, I'm very lucky. Like, they are one of my favorite bands ever, and I have a really great relationship with the lead singer that's been there for a long time. So, like, they aren't just a favorite band. They're some of my favorite people. So, like...
I was going to say, what album would you recommend starting with?
I would just listen to them from the beginning all the way through. Like it's... To hear how the music evolves from 2016, The Great Glass Elephant, maybe even 2014. God. But The Great Glass Elephant is like, it's crazy. And like, they're one of those bands, like, as they've gone, they've referenced that album, their first album, on every subsequent album in different ways. Like, it's not always the same way. And then even up to this album, like there are references. So if you're a longtime listener of the band, there's these little earworms that get put into every album that are just like, oh yeah, I remember that from this other song I like. It's so good.
It reminds me of the Post Malone Jonas Brothers, where they keep dropping each other in every album. There's a line to reference each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of like that.
Yeah, so,
I'm adding all of their albums to an Idola playlist because you have mentioned them a lot, and I feel, not that it's my responsibility to listen to bands you mentioned, but like I feel like this is one of the ones I've got to...
I think you need to listen to them and listen to them in order. They are a band that... Yeah. I would say started out being not overtly Christian in messaging. A lot of the newer messaging centers itself around Christian, I don't want to say ideals, but virtues, but there's still a ton of Eastern influence in it, which I think separates it enough that they're not just like an outright Christian band, but everything's very spiritual, everything's very meaningful, and then he even announces it at the beginning of Degeneratera, and that was probably the line that got me to listen more intently to them. Was he says, my intention is to explore the realm of consciousness and the human condition. That's the first line on the second track of that album, like just phenomenal. And they've been good ever since.
Yeah,
they've never missed in my book.
I'm gonna try them out.
Cool. Number one for you. Hit me.
Okay. This
Bad
is
Omens. Did I
Bad
ruin
Omens, Concrete Jungle, the OST.
Did I ruin it?
Yeah. No, I mean, look, here's the thing.
You said it was obvious.
And
you gave it away.
Like, technically, they released an album this year.
You're always wearing their shirts.
They're
your favorite.
Hoodie. I got that Naruto hoodie.
That's right.
This album, though, legitimately, I debated. I'm not kidding. This actually started in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Because I was like, obviously, I'm not just going to put it up at number one. But as I went through music and I started really gathering my list, I realized that this OST version just highlights why I love Bad Omens so much.
Okay.
It might not be the best album, but like you said, it's highlighting the artist.
Yeah.
Bad Omens did something this year that a lot of their fans were like mixed on, and that was doing the song Van with the artist Poppy and not having Noah Sebastian on vocals.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were like, I don't get it. But to me, I was like, dude, it's the sound of Bad Omens that has always gotten me, because they've done songs with other artists, like they've done a song called Suffocate before, where it's like more of a like techno-y
also a
rock
song title featuring Poppy by a different band.
Who? Oh,
Knocked Loose.
Oh, yeah. So, like, to me, this highlights what Bad Omens does really well.
Yeah.
And that's having their sound carry the vocals.
Yeah.
And I think that when you can change out Noah for a guest, and he's doing backup on it, like he's doing grunts and like some screaming in the background, but like the fact that I can listen to that and be like, this is still so much a Bad Omens song, even though what a lot of people consider the key element of a band, the lead singer, isn't there. But it highlights, again, for me, like, it's not about the lead singer, it's about the sound and the messaging, and the fact that the song that she sings is very much in line with the Bad Omens kind of vibe works really well. On top of that, to go even further, I love Bad Omens because Noah, the lead singer, is so transparent about everything. And I really respect the fact that he canceled a lot of his tour this year, because he was like, yo, my mental health, like, touring takes a lot out of me. My mental health is already like, he's an introvert. Like, I've seen interviews with him where he's like, yeah, like, I like to sing, but like the dude wears cat ears on stream when he's like, he plays video games in his free time. Like, the dude is not some like rock star, limo, big house. Like, I like that about them. And I like that this album has a lot of unique flavor to it. It's a lot of like remixes of other songs. It's a lot of collaborations with other artists. It's a lot of like new kind of, they have like just some they have a lo-fi song on this album. Like it's such a smorgasbord of things that I love about the band, that at the end of the day, I was like, it's number one, maybe because it wasn't my favorite, but because of how much it represents why I love this band as much as I do.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I finally got my Bad Omens tattoo this year.
Woo!
So like, and I got that hoodie, which I'd been waiting for like 6 months. So.
And they're your favorite band ever.
And they're my favorite band of all time, forever and always.
Both of us picked our favorite bands this year.
Yeah!
But both of us had favorite bands that released something this year. It's not like we reached back, right?
No. And like I said, OST, I originally was just going to be an honorable mention, but then dissecting it more, I was like, oh, it is worthy of my number one.
Yeah. You know what's like, I think as time goes on, just because of the way that I interact with like people and the world, I have a feeling my top 5 is just gonna slowly become people that I know. It's just gonna be like, not only do I really like this artist, but also we were talking last. I'm gonna be like the Stephen A. Smith of music commentary. We're like, so I said to them last week. Honorable mentions. I'm just gonna run over all of mine until I get to the top one. But I want you to give me your honorable mentions first.
Oh, okay.
Hit me.
I have a lot. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. So do I.
Okay.
I have like 16.
This is no particular order.
Yeah,
either.
just run through, and we'll say we'll be like, ooh, all right.
Honorable mention. Half of the Post Malone Country album was good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like any of it, but keep going.
And by half,
that album proved to me I don't like country music the way that I thought I could. Like, you know,
well,
like I went in with a very open mind and was like, oh, this isn't my sound.
No, it is not great because the other half of that album is on my worst.
It's
would
garbage.
be my honorable mention for worst.
Okay. Keep going.
Natalie Carr was on mine.
Okay.
Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet album.
Yep, on mine.
And then I like the song Juno the most. That's my favorite one.
Yep.
Just so fucking catchy.
Mm-hmm.
The Twisters soundtrack is on my honorable mention because though I'm not a huge country fan, and maybe it's just because I love dumb movies like that, but like it's a pretty fun soundtrack.
Yep.
An artist that I found this year that I liked, Spencer Sutherland, had an album come out called The Drama. Was a big fan of that.
Cool.
Ghost had a single this year called The Future is a Foreign Land, and it is probably my favorite Ghost song.
Oh, good.
I only like a handful of their songs, realistically, but this one really stuck out to me. Algorithm by Lucky Day, that album.
Oh, so good.
Painted is incredible. I listen to that all the fucking time.
We love Lucky Day.
Lucky Day's fucking good. Wicked soundtrack, which would probably be number one if I had to put it somewhere. Like it would be number one on my honorable mentions. Because it's really fucking good. Hosier had a single this year called Too Sweet off of his EP album. Just big fan, big fan. And then the last one that I had, because honestly a lot of her songs kind of would have been by themselves, but Chappell Roan's Good Luck Babe. Really, this is my year to discover Chappell Roan. That would probably be number one on my honorable mentions, actually. Really liked her a lot this year. Really good.
You know what? What's weird about my personal experience listening to Chappell Roan started during the pandemic, right? So like 2020 time, maybe even I would say even probably the end of 2019. I forget when she first popped up because you know how like music will be fed to you, like the algorithm. Chappell Roan was fed my way, and it was way back when she was singing about just like being in New York City for the weekend, hooking up with a dude. Like I think, you know, and I listened to it and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is some cool like girl pop. Rock on. All right, sweet. And then kind of moved on. And so then as she was coming out this year, I was like, oh wow, that artist is on the up and up that I listened to a while back. Nice. Yeah. I still like that. Cool. Like, and that's where it ended with me. Like I never because I didn't get swept up in the rise of Chappell Roan, you know? So I was just kind of like on the outside going, yeah, that is nice. It's still nice. Nice. Yeah. You know? So she's on my honorable mentions. My list is pretty crazy. I've got Leon. You'll know. You might not know some of these artists. You might know them. I
only know like 3 in your top 5.
A lot of them are R&B. A lot of them are metal. They're very different. So Leon Thomas, super good R&B hip hop album, killer this year. Naomi, I sent you this one. It's the two chicks who are kind of like heavy but not, but electronic. They're very they're very 21 Pilots in their own way.
They were good.
Very good. Kaylin Ellis, absolutely phenomenal beat maker. Killing it with I think the album's like Money something. Anyway, Money Morphosis maybe. Andres, killer album this year. Three Maves is one of my top songs. It's the one about dating in the modern world and how he meets a liberal girl who thinks he's racist. He meets a conservative girl who thinks he's a pussy. He meets a girl in between, but she's like addicted to astrology and like it's like I can't date you because of your sign. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with all of us? Like, it's really
dude,
good.
I forgot. Arcane soundtrack was on my honorable mention, but you mentioned it already.
Yeah, that is on mine too.
I meant to mention that.
And then I've got Vea. Vea, absolutely phenomenal. Just discovered her at the end of this year. She's from London. Absolutely killer. Good singer. Ramon, famous Norway pop R&B. Pasalu, French, I think maybe Cambodian, maybe even he's African, but he has an album called African de Alien. Really, really good. It's such a, like, that's the way that he says it in the beginning. He's like African de Alien, and he's got like a heavy accent, but the stuff that he's rapping about is really just about identity, culture, history, memory, like all the things that make up who a human being is, where it doesn't matter if you haven't had the same life experience he has. He's bringing you in and like bringing you through an emotional experience that's worthwhile. Coltrane, spelt with an E in the middle, absolutely phenomenal. Always, whenever he releases an EP, an album, a single, it's in my top. Under Oath just released a new set of 3 singles at the end of this year called Survivor's Guilt, Generation, I forget what the fuck, and then Teeth. And those just killer songs. I'm probably going to go see them in concert next year. 4 Year Strong, killer. Marcin, absolutely phenomenal guitar player, kind of up there with Manuel Gardner Fernandez. Ichikanito, same, up there, like crazy good guitar. And then Bring Me the Horizons album, absolutely phenomenal. Like they're so genre bending. They're like they're Bring Me the Horizon, and then like even Under Oath now with these new singles and Bad Omens are all kind of doing the same thing where they're like, we don't fucking care what genre this is anymore.
We're just gonna do what we like.
We're just
and I respect
doing a
that.
thing.
I forgot about Bring Me the Horizon. Damn, that's a good one.
The Home Team bringing in the funk to emo and pop punk, like absolutely killer. Void of Vision was one that I didn't see coming, but their album Chronicles is just by and far absolutely phenomenal. It's electronic, it's metal. Gothica's like one of my favorite songs of the entire year. And then last but not least, and I really want to talk about this band. This band, like, if you asked me, what is your personality, like, describe your personality as music, Via Nova is the band that I think encapsulates what and who I am as a person. Especially with their new batch of singles that are coming out. They've got Wheel of Fortune and Mas Rapido, and like they're fucking metal, but they're funk. Somebody accurately said, this is what it would look like if Jamiroquai was a metal band. And I can't agree more. They are absolutely over-the-top phenomenal. I love everything about what they're doing. There's gang vocals. There's crazy good, like, acoustic or piano parts. There's breakdowns. There's heavy screams, high screams. Like, the singer is, like, he's up and down. He's in his falsetto range. He's yelling into the mic. Like, there's so much going on all at once. It's such a, like, well-rounded musical experience. Even just listening to those 2 songs is phenomenal. And not only that, the music videos they're making to accompany them are insane.
How do you spell their band name?
Vianova. Vianova. Absolutely phenomenal. I cannot, like, probably going to end up being just on my top 5 next year because I'm assuming they're amping up for an album. But just, like, by and far, killer. And then one last one that I'm tacking on the end. Just
I have one.
Yeah, hit
real
it.
Quick. So
you do one, I'll do one.
I want to look them. The band photo. This is the most like average looking group of guys, but also diverse at the same time.
Yeah, it's
not
fucking
what
wild.
I was expecting them to look like.
Yeah, the lead singer's got like a white fur cap on and a suit, and like they're just they're fucking wild. And then last but not least, I do want to make sure that we don't forget Bill Murray. Bill Murray, absolutely phenomenal band. Their new album this year, American Motorsports, very southern rock country influenced, but in a way that I don't hate. So, absolutely killer.
This year made me realize too. What? I love music, but I am also going to make a conscious effort of 2025 to listen to more new music, because as I was going through a lot of what I've listened to this year and like my recap, it's a lot of stuff that's older. Or
and you know
new,
what?
But not new.
Well, and the way that music gets released too is like a lot of singles will come out toward the end of a year, and then the album will come out the following year in like January, February, March, right? Mm-hmm. Because of how people are consuming music in shorter spans now. So like there is a bit to be adjusted for that. I did try to make sure that my top 5 had active albums this year, right? So that to me was important, but in the honorable mentions, like I was just like, even if they had some stuff come out toward the end of last year. What's your worst? Hit me with the worst.
Five to one.
5 to 1.
5 for me is the Falling in Reverse song Ronald.
I hate Falling in Reverse, so yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, I encourage you to listen to this. It's a mashup of a bunch. It's like Tech 9, I think, is in it
I've
too.
heard it.
It's awful.
Here's the thing. I have people. Falling in Reverse is like wasabi. In that, or horseradish, in that I naturally don't like it. People will try to get me to like it. I will be a good sport about trying to like it. I will go all the way through the song, even if I just don't like it from the get-go. With the person, like when someone's sitting there looking at you, like waiting for the reaction, I will literally not react until the end of the song, especially because I don't think I've ever liked it at all. Mm-hmm. And then I'll get to the end and I'll go, yeah, it was okay. I can see why you like it. But inside I'm going, why the fuck did I just waste my time on this garbage? I think Falling in Reverse is the most popular band that I actively just don't care for.
I don't like them.
Cool.
At all, personally.
Yeah.
And the lead singer's like apparently
a douche.
Isn't he like a massive cock?
Yeah, he's a douche. All right. My number 5 is specifically Post Malone and Blake Shelton. What were you thinking, boys? What were you thinking? That song's not good. What were you thinking? Why did two people who have been known to be able to write more complex music write a dumb song together?
What, isn't that the one that's like Hand Me a Drink or whatever?
Yeah, it's dumb. It's not good. And like the whole thing, it literally, I feel like both of them were dumbed down in that song. I feel like this is the equivalent of Macklemore endorsing Dr. Pepper or whatever it was, Coca-Cola, or fuck it. Like, I get it. You're going to make money. And like, if you come to me, here's the thing. If anybody ever comes to me and they're like, yeah, but they made fucking money off that song, I'm like, that just shows me that there's a lot of stupid people out there because it's not a good song. Like,
I don't disagree at all.
Making money off of something doesn't make it good. McDonald's still makes more money than most chains. Coca-Cola still makes money hand over fist globally. Like, there are many people still buy cigarettes and lotto tickets. Like, pointing out that a song made money to me is nothing. It means nothing.
Also, like, to be fair, now that I'm like really thinking about that album, there's one song on that album that I like.
And the rest is whatever.
The rest is bad.
I have a bias. I will give you this. I have a bias. I do not care for country. I don't know. Like, it's never been wired into me. It's never appealed to me. It's never been my thing. Maybe later in life I go through a country renaissance. Who fucking knows? I don't see it happening, but it would surprise everybody, I think. But ultimately, that album was trash, and that song was the worst. Number 4.
Well, I was going to say, as somebody who grew up with country music, and I fucking love Post Malone, I think I was just really disappointed with it.
Yeah.
My number 4, this was a late night discovery, literally a couple days ago when I was putting this list together.
Yeah.
And it just cracked me up that it just had to go in here. Jennifer Lopez, Dear Ben Part 2. Have you heard
No, and I'm not going to listen to it. That's how bad? How bad can it be? This is years later, girl. Get over it. Like,
it's bad, dude.
Yeah, no, pass. This is like Bullet for My Valentine writing Tears Don't Fall Part 2. Sorry, dude, you missed the boat on that one. That was way too late.
Would you like some lyrics?
No.
Are you sure?
You're going to give them to me.
Nah, 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 say you love me. Do it again. Oh, you love me so I love you more. Say you love me. Do it again.
That's dumb.
Oh, you love me.
Pass.
I love you more.
Pass.
That's literally the lyric.
My number 4 is Dylan Mulvaney's song Days of Girlhood. This annoyed the piss out of me. I don't think Dylan Mulvaney's bad. I think the song is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is the worst thing Dylan Mulvaney's ever maybe had written or written. It's not. I'm not. Yeah. If it was good, if it was even okay, I wouldn't even bring it up, but it was just, I did not enjoy it to the point that I remembered not enjoying it, and it made the list.
It's like the Katy Perry song.
Which
that
one?
also came out about that.
Which
like
one?
Girls Rule the World or whatever. It was
yeah,
just another one of those like generic
yeah.
pop algorithm
and
songs.
I hope it's someone's favorite song, and I hope that person grows up and likes much better music and goes, oh yeah, that song's not that good, but it meant a lot. You know, like that's it.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, cool. Number 3.
Number 3, mine. People love this song, but "Beautiful Things" by Benson Boone. It is just him screaming.
Oh yeah.
It's just fucking
I don't care about
earworms.
that. Yeah, that one's not that good.
I don't like it when people go from like, oh my god, I wish I knew the actual musical terms, but it's like, what's it like when you scream? It's like falsetto.
Fry screams.
I don't know. Either way, he's like vocal frying. That's what I'm like. He's like vocal frying himself
vocal
and
fry.
screaming. Yeah. And then like going
I
back
do
and
vocal
singing.
fry.
But like, I just don't like that song. It's just like that whole song. That whole message of that song is him begging God. So right there, probably why I don't like it. Not to take beautiful things from him, which to me just highlights like the fact that God could cure cancer and does it. What's your number 3?
My number 3, the artist, is going to fucking shock you because I bet you don't even know that this man was featured on a song this year.
Is it Ben Shapiro and Tom McDonald?
Yes, it's fucking Ben Shapiro and Tom McDonald. How did you know?
Because that's not your number 1.
Oh no, it's the song Facts.
Yeah,
that
that's
song
my number 1.
is bad.
That's my number 1.
That song is like one of the worst things I've ever heard. Wow. All right,
Dude,
we're on the
2 for
same
2 on
page.
these top
Tom
5
McDonald
episodes.
is a bad rapper. He's not good.
No,
his
from
flow
Canada.
his flow is bad.
Dude, he's got like this patriotic like theme going, but he's from fucking Canada.
He looks dumb.
He looks
like
human piss.
And then if you look at the single cover, like the cover for the single,
it looks like AI.
It looks like Tom McDonald did poop, and it looks like Ben Shapiro's trying to poop. Like, it looks like one of them's like, I completed my job of shitting, and the other one's like, I'm still working on it. Just bad. And they tried to look serious. Ben Shapiro's making the face that every wannabe self-help guru makes on the cover picture for their podcast, where they're looking at you like, hey, maybe I've got a provocative thought here, but it's typically going to be that PC culture is communist. Whoa, dropped it.
Do you want to
get out of here?
Can I get political for a second? Can I get political for a second too?
If it's on Ben Shapiro specifically, yes.
It's on Tom McDonald specifically.
Oh, do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there's this guy on TikTok in the interwebs. I can't remember. I don't know what his name is.
Ben Shapiro.
It's Tom McDonald does. No, I would remember that little man. It's I can't remember the guy's name, but he does stuff with Tom McDonald. He makes music.
Yeah.
Adam Calhoun. That's his name.
Oh yeah. I know this guy.
And so they made this song about America and about how America's got like girls with pink hair that like complain and
that
stuff,
almost made my list.
So I think that came out in 2023.
Yeah.
That song is really funny. All the far right, like MAGA extremists, ate that shit up. Nom 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 nom.
I think
everybody else with more than 2 brain cells to rub together were like, Tom McDonald's from Canada.
Yeah.
Why is he singing about being an American patriot?
Because he made money. This goes back to what I said.
He made money.
This goes back to what I said. If you point at it and you go, it made money and a lot of people listen to it, I'm going to go, well, a lot of people are addicted to fucking sugar. And we know that that's just inherently bad for you, being addicted to sugar and having it like in way too much of a quantity every fucking day of your life. Like, we know these things, but people do it anyway. You know, people know that they need to go to the gym and they don't. I'm okay. I don't like these people. I don't like Tom McDonald. I don't like Adam Calhoun. I don't like Ben Shapiro. I think that they make money off of people who want to feel disenfranchised, even though they live in a fucking first world culture. And if they don't want to engage with something, they literally have the option not to.
No, yeah, their music.
It's like you literally have the freedom to just not engage.
Their music and their audience are the people with the most privilege and rights in this country that want to feel like they don't have it.
It's fucking wild to me.
It's insane.
It blows my mind. Yeah, Ben Shapiro is the worst, and anything he puts his name on, I typically hate. And I will put this, if he makes something I like, I will admit it. But I don't see it
he's
happening.
He's a producer on a couple movies that are like in poor
real
taste.
bad.
There's one
the basketball one.
There's the basketball one, but there's also a school shooter one.
I'm sure it's fucking horrible. I'm sure it's about paid actors or whatever. Anyway,
it's about like how Gunn should be in the classroom to defend against Paige. Like, yeah, it's
so
bad.
dumb, so dumb.
It's bad.
All right, cool.
Well, I guess
number
now
2.
I'm on my number 2, because that was my number 1.
Yeah, and we're not going to talk about it again, but you can just say it.
So let's.
Do you want to change your list?
Let's just say that's my number 2. So you do your number 2, so then we can get to our number 1s.
You know what? Let's do this. Because we both agree on it, Facts is actually the worst. That's the number 1.
Agreed.
Let's do number 3 and number 2 now.
Well, I just have my number 2.
All right. Oh, what's your number 2? Sorry.
Because your number 1. Yeah.
Wait,
my number
1,
2
2,
is.
3. Yeah, we have 2 more. Okay, so number 2 for you.
Yeah.
Or number no, because Facts is moving to number 1, so this is number 3, and then we're going to.
Facts was already my number 1.
Okay, but so don't even change the order.
Okay, well then the next one on my list is JoJo Siwa's Karma.
That is the next one on my list. We agree. Yes, that is the next one on my list. We agree.
That's incredible.
Thank you. Yes, we agree. That's a bad song. That's a very bad song. JoJo Siwa, you're doing nothing new. I don't know what drugs you're on or not on that are either helping or not helping your mental state, but please help yourself. Do something. Like, because this was just, it was a bad rollout. It was a bad response. It was a bad response to the response. It was like, it wasn't a good song. And then to defend it, I think was in poor taste. Cool. Number 2. For me, it's Snow Days Freestyle, a.k.a. the Toronto version of Hey There, Delilah. This song is horrible.
What? Hang on, I gotta look this up.
Literally, the first lyrics are Wagwan Delilah. It's not good. It's very, very bad. It's and somebody, multiple people. I didn't care to look up anything more about this. Multiple people have reached out, like when I mentioned this song to them, they're like, "Didn't Drake do a version of that?" I'm like, that doesn't. Once again, just because someone with status or money is associated with something doesn't mean that there's any level of quality to it whatsoever. It's really bad. Like it's not well done.
I don't like this.
Yeah, don't. You can stop. That's number 2 for me because
my number 2 would now be
it's the same because your number 1 is my number 1 now.
Oh, I pulled one from my honorable mention.
Okay.
Bigfoot by Nicki Minaj.
It was fine. Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Honorable mention, I'm bad. No, number 1 because you agree with it. I'm going to say Facts is actually number 1. Worst.
Oh,
the worst. Yeah. So that's the worst music of the year. There are people releasing bad music still. Who knew? And you know, like music is one of those things I really try to, like, if I don't like something, I just don't even talk about it typically. So I'm glad we did this because, like, I normally don't anyway. I just kind of, like, bite my tongue and I'm like, well, I guess somebody likes
There's
that.
no way anybody that listens to this is going to be like, actually, J-Lo Dear Ben Part 2 was incredible.
Yeah, I don't foresee people who find entertainment in our little podcast liking any of these artists. But if you do like these artists and you're offended and you would like us to show up and respond to your response at your funeral, please email mysecretpoweris@gmail.com.
Oh, wait. Oh, you want to know what one of my honorable mentions is?
Hit me. Yeah. I don't have honorable mentions for bads because I didn't want to focus on it.
I just have, like, truly just one.
Okay.
Anything Taylor Swift released.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. That's our controversy. That's for the clicks and engagement.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's our controversy. You don't like Taylor Swift still.
I don't, but I don't think her stuff deserves to be on the worst. It's whatever. I'm trying to get engagement.
Once again, like, there's so many people that love Taylor Swift, and the album Folklore was fine in my book, and that's great. And I've got that forever. I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this was actually good. And then the next one came out, and I was like, oh, yeah, I still am not a fan. Whatever, it's fine. Like, and it's not that I'm not actively, like, I feel like when someone becomes a certain level of popularity, people either love or hate them. They don't find the middle ground enough. And me, I'm just fine with it. Like, if someone's around that loves Taylor Swift and wants to play it, I'm not like, don't play that crap. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Play the fucking song. Like, it's fine. Because it's not
like her
bad.
Music,
but the
that's
music,
just me.
Yeah, the music to me is not actively bad the same way that the stuff I just listed is actively bad.
No.
Like, if someone turned on any of these songs that I just listed, I'd be like, no, thank you. Yeah. I would be like, please skip. I'll let you skip something of mine at some point. I don't care. I'll sacrifice something I like to not listen to this. You know? Like, I would compromise with people that way on that. But with most other things, I'm just kind of like tolerant, you know?
And
in a good way. In a good and supportive way where I'm like, I'm glad that people like that. You know, like I said, Chappell Roan's like one of the biggest artists in the fucking world this year. And I was like, wow, that's nice. And that's all I had to say because like it didn't grab me the same way, but I enjoyed watching other people be grabbed by it. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's Taylor Swift doesn't deserve to be on the worst by any stretch. Yeah. You're right. She's not nearly like remotely as close. What I just always find funny is it really doesn't matter what year, whether Taylor has a new album coming out or not. She re-releases a new album every time another woman in the music industry is got an album rising, and then that re-released album always wins over the new people's albums at the award shows.
You're talking about the Taylor's versions thing. That I'm actually very supportive of. I understand the background behind it. It was explained to me. She totally got robbed of the rights of her music and was not making the money she should have made off things that she was honestly writing in the early parts of her career. So as she's releasing those, she's actually getting back what was rightfully hers to begin with. I'm
she
totally
could use some more millions on top of her billions. You know, I mean,
yeah, but like
I feel bad for her for losing.
For me,
out
I'm
on
like, all right,
she
was an artist who got screwed
jet.
over. Well, any artist I know who gets screwed over, what they do is they just go independent anyway, which is what she did eventually, right? So now, and as she's re-releasing these through production houses, but doing it on her own terms, she's getting what if any other artist did this, I would support it. So I'm just like, it's fine. Like,
I just think it's a little suspicious that she happened to release it just as Sabrina Carpenter's album is climbing, and then it kind of derailed. Like, it's just suspicious that she.
Do they have beef? I don't know. I'm not paying attention to beef in the music.
They don't. But that's the thing. But she does that to a lot of female artists.
So she's a bully. You think T Swift is a bully?
I truly think that there might be somebody on her team who, like, I don't know if, I don't.
No, like, that's what it is. Someone on her team didn't get invited to prom, and it's like, you know what?
Kevin.
Well, none of you get to go.
My conspiracy theory is legitimately, I don't think this is like Taylor Swift specifically is involved. I think there's somebody on her team with releasing albums that like is so obsessed with Taylor Swift, they have like a shrine of her that they're like, no other artist can outdo her. So anytime somebody's on the rise, they're like, re-release now. Like, that's my conspiracy.
I would say if there's anything I don't like about artists in that realm, not even just Taylor Swift, but artists who get to that level, like Falling in Reverse is a good example. Yeah. The fan base is just like obnoxiously culty. Like the Taylor Swift fan base is like I can't tell you how many times my response has been she's okay, and people like lose their minds that I said she's okay. Yeah. Like they're like she's a genius and what like, and I'm like, I don't need to hear it for the 100. Like, what do you think I haven't heard in this argument already? Like I understand enough to say she's fine. Like, please just give me like do I need to go turn on blast beats and fucking metal to get the point across to you that that's what I prefer? Because she's never going to write that shit.
It's a preference.
Yeah. And I've said never a few times. I really try to shy away from saying never, but let's be real and recap this real quick. I'm never going to have a country renaissance. We'll be completely surprised if I do. Ben Shapiro's never going to release anything that I approve of. I'll be completely surprised if he does. And Taylor Swift is never going to release a death metal album. I will be
incredible if she did.
Floored if she does.
I would be there front row.
I will be absolutely dumbfounded. I will shut up for a day.
You and I will be on that tour. Don't worry. We'll be going to see her.
If you want us to podcast live at Taylor Swift's death metal tour, email mysecretpoweris@gmail.com.
Petition going.
What's your jam this week?
All the music we just listened.
Great. Do you have nothing? I've got one for you.
Well,
and I want it to be your jam.
Well, you go.
Creature Commandos. I want Creature Commandos to be your jam. It's so good. James Gunn is doing a phenomenal job. I haven't watched somebody do an interview about a thing that they've released in forever. And then Creature Commandos
episode 4?
Yes, Creature
Commandos is really good.
Creature Commandos tickled my interest, my curiosity so much that I reached out into the YouTube and typed. I searched. I actually searched.
Oh no.
It's funny that like just putting in that effort seems like I made it seem like some insurmountable task that I typed in Creature Commandos James Gunn into fucking YouTube. Wow, what a fucking first world moment. No, but so I watched him talking about it, and it was really funny. In the interview, he's like, well, you know, I'm very lucky. I have a nice CEO who greenlit the project, and it's like, it's you. you. You greenlit this project.
Well, I think technically it's the Warner Brothers CEO.
Yeah, but it's like you wrote, directed it, and greenlit your own project.
Yeah.
Not only
and you're
that,
head of the DC studios.
And this is a big thing. They're kickstarting the DC universe with this. This is the first official thing in James Gunn's DC universe.
May I correct you for a second, Kevin, good sir?
Hit me.
It's the first new thing released that's a part of the universe. Technically, it actually starts with the Suicide Squad and parts of Peacemaker.
Parts of. Okay, so that's why I'm saying. Okay, so parts of, but then also. So the Suicide Squad events did happen, but
they get referenced.
Yes, they get referenced. So he's saying that anything that gets referenced becomes canon, but anything released up to this point isn't like 100% canon.
It's
so
bits.
And what that did was, I think that locks it in so that like you could watch Suicide Squad and be like, well, that's different. It's like, well, it didn't get referenced in once the universe actually started. I like that he did that because that's a nice little like failsafe.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cop out, but it's a nice little failsafe.
It works.
Okay, hear me out. Creature Commandos has James Gunn writing and directing, who's proven himself time and time again in the entertainment comic book movie film space, right?
Yeah.
Even Slither, yeah. He's proven himself over and over again in that space. He used to direct for Troma. He's weathered being fucking canceled and come back and made this thing. Like the lore behind this shit is fucking dope. And then the show comes out, and it's got the animation. It's got like a touched up it's very much in like the X-Men 98 realm, right? Like it's like a touched up version of the 1990s cartoon nostalgia as far as the aesthetic goes that I can really appreciate. And then the story's rich. The characters are great. We're getting a backstory for each member of the squad with every episode that releases, which is fucking phenomenal. And then they did the best thing that I think you can do, and I do this in D&D campaigns when I'm DMing, and this is a little bit, this might be a spoiler for you, but I don't care. Their initial mission that they're tasked with goes completely wrong, like any good D&D campaign.
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Yes, so it goes completely wrong, but they complete it by the 4th. Then they come back, and it turns out the bad guy, we were talking about a knock at the cabin. The bad guy is Cersei, and they keep talking about Themyscira, which is an island of women, and people keep going, that place doesn't exist. And they're like, no, it really does. Like, it's like a running gag in the show that people doubt its existence and then also think it exists. Like,
That's
it's fucking
where Wonder
hilarious.
Woman comes from.
The bad guys are originally incels who are like, it's an island full of women. They don't think men
yeah.
can be there. I've got rights, too. I think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
They end up massacring them in episodes 2 and 3, which is great. Then the bad guy Cersei in episode 4 is like, I was trying to kill this person. She's like the princess of Bulgavia or whatever the fuck it is. She's like, I was trying to kill her to prevent the end of the world. And
I had a feeling there was going to be a twist like that.
That was it, and it is. And it's worth it because at the end of episode 3, she gets her fucking ass whooped by Dr. Phosphorus and Weasel, which is probably the funniest like DC universe fight scene I've ever seen, because Weasel literally comes galloping into the room and tackles Cersei out and just starts like biting her and clawing at her back, and Dr. Phosphorus gets right in front of her and just starts burning her face. And it's like it's such like it's there's no crazy action to it. They've already done all the crazy action, but just to have that, it's such a rewarding thing. And then in the next episode, have Amanda Waller's like, well, Cersei says this girl's gonna end the world, and she showed it to me. And they keep talking about clairvoyance. They're like, yeah, she's dubiously a clairvoyant, and like, people are like, what's that? Does that mean she can move stuff with her mind? And they're like, no. She can see possible futures. And it's like they keep debating it. The fucking character G.I. Robot is so hilarious.
Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn is G.I. Robot and Weasel.
Yep.
But G.I. Robot, the whole episode about G.I. Robot, it turns out his biggest want in the world is to hang with his boys and kill Nazis. It's so fucking good. I love everything about it, and the misdirection, and then, hey, we have to go back to Bulgavia or whatever the fuck it is to kill the princess because she's actually going to be a tyrant who ends the world. I think it was a nice twist. And I hope they get there, and it turns out it was wrong. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I hope it turns out that was wrong too. I hope
Yeah.
it turns out that Amanda Waller's just making horrible decision after horrible decision.
She's kind of known for that.
Exactly. And so, like, I kind of, like, but even if it isn't, I think it's still going to be rewarding because of the way that's been written so far. So, yeah, Creature Commandos.
And also,
my jam, for sure.
On Creature Commandos, like, I know about episode 4. I know about Weasel's backstory. And, you know, there's this running gag that he's killed, like, 37 kids or whatever.
Yeah, it turns out it's 5, and they got blown up by human misunderstanding.
Yeah, and, you know, I always thought with just the way the Weasel was portrayed, he's like a dog. And, like, just knowing how James Gunn... And just, like, knowing how James Gunn is about dogs, Superman trailer, you know, I think that it was very obvious from the start, and I don't think anybody expected it to be where he actually killed 37 kids or whatever.
No, I like that the myth around him is that, you know?
Yeah, and James Gunn said this was the saddest thing he ever wrote, and he finished it in Colorado, funny enough.
Oh.
And, you know, I was listening to him talk about it, and... You know, I saw the clip of the whole backstory thing, like, kind of smushed together. Yeah. And, yeah, like...
It's very sad.
What a fun... Not a fun. What a...
It was not fun.
What an inclusion.
But
it's like Rocket's backstory in Guardians 3.
But it also shows that James Gunn has, like, the sense and sensibility to touch on a subject like children dying in the show, because they do. There are children... Spoiler alert.
Some of them blow up. One of them gets buried alive.
One of them has... wreckage fall on them. They don't get buried alive. They just have wreckage. Like, you're like, yeah, a kid would be crushed by that.
Oh.
Yeah, no, they get, yeah. And meanwhile, Weasel is just being shot at by these cops who think that they're the good guys because they got called by this, like, redneck dude who didn't understand what he was seeing. Like, there's so much social commentary in the show that's not literally hitting you over the head with it. Like, it's not a redneck. Nice. Yeah, but like, then that misunderstanding turns into him getting locked up. Like, it shows how each of them ends up in the prison that they get picked from. And, like, they really, like, none of them are really proper monsters. All of them have very human wants and flaws. But it's just because of what they are that they get perceived as, like, less than, you know? And that's what made them part of this squad. And I think that I think it does an even better job than the Suicide Squad of showing, like, hey, but these people, I think the Suicide Squad did a good job of showing, hey, these are people, but also they're monsters. And I think this does a very good job of showing, hey, yeah, these are regarded as monsters, but also they're very human.
Like, you know who's missing from Creature Commandos?
Who?
King Shark.
Okay, so James Gunn did talk about how he picked the 5. He was like, there's so many to pick from, and he's like, I just kind of wanted these. I think he's saving King Shark. I think King Shark's going to come back.
I think so too, because he also, you know, they say that Weasel's the only survivor. I'm assuming that when everybody
say that.
Well, at the end of the Suicide Squad, everybody, you know, their chips were deactivated and they walked away.
Yeah.
So, but I have a jam for you.
Hit me.
Because I kind of want to keep this theme of James Gunn going real quick.
Oh, yeah.
The Superman trailer. And I just want to talk about it because I've watched it a couple times. Because I think I really have always loved...
You're watching it right now.
I'm always watching.
You're watching it on repeat.
I love the way trailers are made sometimes. I think trailers can be so, like, artistic in their own right.
Yeah.
And there's full-on companies that make trailers. Like, you know, it's not even by their own studio, which is why some trailers give away too much.
Yeah.
But in Superman, some people that are going to pop up, which is interesting because they're going to be coming from the cartoon. Frank Grillo is going to show up as a live-action Frank Flagg Sr.
Oh, yeah. Which is
know,
going to be sick.
Sean Gunn is live-action Maxwell Lord.
Hell yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Love that.
Speaking of...
We talk about Nepo stuff, all like nepotism. I feel like this is the one case where no one's saying anything yet.
No,
like, we're all kind of like... We're like, we know that this is, right? But also he's talented.
Like, when has Sean Gunn been in a lead role with James Gunn's movies?
He's never been in a lead role. Yeah, he's never been in a lead role. He also, now he's got Creature Commandos, but he's never been in a lead role. But also, he's been, like, perfecting his own acting chops, and he's really good in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He does the mocap really well, too.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's like the DC Universe's personal Andy Serkis now. Like,
kinda. You know, like, him and Alan Tudyk are everywhere. Because Alan Tudyk is Clayface in the Harley Quinn show.
Yes.
He's in this, and he's supposed to be live-action Clayface.
And I fucking love Alan Tudyk. Who doesn't love Alan Tudyk?
I fucking love
Oh, my God. I love that Alan Tudyk, didn't he do, like, the stand-in dance for Peacemaker too. Like there's such a fun little like friend group vibe about the current DC universe.
Nathan
crew.
Fillion works with James Gunn a lot.
It's fucking phenomenal. I love it.
Let's talk about the Superman trailer real quick, because I just want to get some idea of what people can expect in this if you haven't seen it, or if you.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, or if you did watch the trailer and you're like, who are all these people? I just want to kind of name.
Yeah,
some of the people
I'm too excited. I need to dial it back.
I know it's
take me through it.
It's cool. Crypto the Superdog shows up, which is really cool.
Yes.
Obviously we
love that.
I also
love. He says, "Take me home," and Crypto. Like the next shot is like Crypto just dragging him through the snow.
I think he's gonna fly with him.
Well, okay. I was like, all right. Crypto either takes him home in that scene and flies with him, or drags him to where the Fortress of Solitude is, which is home. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a nice little bit, James. I see what you did there. Keep going. Sorry.
So Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor shows up in the trailer.
Yes. Okay. He's from Mad Max, right? Fury Road.
Mad Max. Juror Number 2, which was a terrible movie.
I don't know that one.
It's a Clint Eastwood movie.
No. Yes. That's on Max right now.
Yeah,
that just came out.
Yeah, Beast, in the old X-Men movies.
Yeah.
X-Men movies.
Yep.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so good.
The Menu with Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's the food blogger
guy.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, he's so fucking good. Yes.
Yeah,
and he's Lex Luthor.
He's Lex Luthor, dude.
I love him as Lex Luthor.
Yes,
what a great casting.
Yes. Yeah.
And I love that he was bald in the beginning. We didn't have to go through the whole, this is why he's bald. Like,
did you
what
see
a
that
fucking...
Jesse Eisenberg said that doing the Batman movie hurt his career?
It 100% did.
Absolutely.
He did, and he's the best part about that movie. All right.
From Alien Romulus, Isabel Merced is
yes.
Like I said, Frank Grillo is going to show up as Rick Flag Sr. Alan Tudyk is in this as something, so he could be showing up as a live-action Dr. Phosphorus.
I hope he's fucking Dr. Phosphorus.
Who knows? He could be a robot voice.
I hope he's Dr. Phosphorus for, like, a gag. Like, that would just be... Because, like, how nice would it be if, like, there were brief moments of levity involving cameos that, like, just panned out to nothing here and there?
I think him and Rick Flag should show up together.
That would be so great. Because you know that, like, the whole Rick Flag as the straight man and then any member of the Creature Commandos is already a funny dynamic.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion is playing Guy Gardner, who he might show up in the Lantern show.
Wow.
Because we know that the guy from Rebel Ridge, Aaron Pierre, is Hal Jordan in the Lantern's HBO Max TV show.
And we love Hal Jordan.
And we don't know, though, if that's going to be the Green Lantern, also be in James Gunn's DC. The only
I hope
one
they
we know,
do different ones, because it sounds like James is intentionally separating some stuff.
If Kyle Chandler, Nathan Fillion, and Aaron Pierre, because Kyle Chandler's playing Hal Jordan, Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, and Aaron Pierre's Jon Stewart.
Yeah,
those three showing up together in the DC universe would be really cool, because it's Hal Jordan's the OG, he patched on to Jon Stewart, and Guy Gardner's just kind of always been there.
Yeah.
But Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner. An actor that I really like, he was in Psych, as well as the Santa Clarita Diet. Skylar Gisondo is Jimmy Olsen.
Yep.
Which I think is great to finally have Jimmy Olsen again.
That'll be good.
Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon is going to show up as Supergirl at some point.
Oh, hold on. Wait, what?
Yeah, she's Supergirl.
Really?
Yes.
That's fucking dope.
That's a perfect cast.
That's fucking cool.
One of the guys from Parks and Rec called, his name is Wendell Pierce. He's Perry White. He plays the reporter in Parks and Rec.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that. Sean Gunn, obviously, is Maxwell Lord.
Yep.
Anthony Kerrigan is playing Metamorpho. You might know him from Barry.
Who else played Maxwell Lord? It was...
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, okay. So we're getting a... Okay. I'm very glad that we're done with the Wonder Woman universe. I'm very glad that we're done with this.
Yeah.
I don't dislike all of it, but I'm very glad that we're not going to see that again. Pedro Pascal was fine, but that movie's bad. All right, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then we have David Corn Sweats.
Who's the guy that you just said? I'm sorry. Before David Corn Sweat?
He's playing
Yeah, who's that?
Andrew Carrigan. He's from Barry, the bald guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% yes.
I love him.
That guy in
great.
More shit.
Yes.
Like, I love that these are actors who don't... I think the thing that the DC universe suffered from when you and I first started podcasting, right? We're going back into the lore of this. When we first, I hated the DC universe.
Yeah,
and I'm never going to shy away from saying whatever the version was that we were getting up to this point was not for me. No, I'm not just going to say it's bad. I'm going to say it was not for me.
And so
the parts of it that were bad felt worse, and the parts of it that were good I didn't care for, right? Because I'm not going to say all of it was bad. I think that would be doing a disservice to my own sense of objective point of view to say all of it was bad.
I'm going to say most of it was bad.
That's fine. I agree. On an opinionative or a subjective point of view, I do not like any of it. Right? Like I think they absolutely ruined the opportunity to have great Henry Cavill moments. I think like so many things were squandered along the way for the sake of a buck, going back to what we were talking about with music.
And they didn't
earlier.
make any money.
And they didn't, because they didn't do it the right way, because they thought they were going to do the thing that people loved, but it turns out people only love those things intensely in certain perspectives. And I think the thing that James Gunn is doing now, where he said, hey, it's okay to have this other Batman universe over here. I don't care. He's like, I want that. He's doing a thing that comic books have done for forever. And there are a lot of people who have come into entertainment universes like Marvel, like DC, who don't have an understanding that you can have the Amazing Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man running at the same time in the comic book world. Not only that, it's happened a ton. There have been multiple versions of the Avengers, multiple versions of the X-Men, concurrently running alongside Wolverine. Even Sabretooth got his own comics. You know, like, there's so much stuff that happens in the comic book universe that I feel like franchises weren't touching on because they were so afraid to, like, have concurrent things. But I think it's great that we're going to have a sequel to The Batman, right? Whatever happens with that, I hope it continues to be good. I'm not going to speculate on it. I just hope it's good. Yeah, and then I hope James Gunn comes along and goes, all right, so we have this, what's his name, Christopher what? Who's the guy doing the Batman?
Oh, Christopher Reeves.
Christopher. I hope James Gunn comes along and goes, yes, Christopher Reeves has this little
Matt
Batman
Reeves.
universe.
I'm sorry.
Matt Reeves. Yes.
Nolan and Matt Reeves.
I missed. Okay, so Matt Reeves. I hope he comes along. He's like, Matt Reeves has his Batman universe. Great, we have that over there. It's awesome. The Penguin's great. Enjoy it. Watch it. It's worth your time. Over here, we have this Batman. And this is the DCU. And the DCU is separate from Matt Reeves. And the DCU is separate from this other thing that's going on at the same time. And what it does is, instead of saying all of these things always have to come together in some huge culminative endgame scenario, like, it's going, no. They can exist separately. And then if we do a big thing over here, it doesn't have to be the same actor. We don't have to worry about them aging out of the role. Like, we can do different things forever. Like, I'm kind of hoping that's the way that it goes. I kind of see this as him recognizing that, like, yeah, shit's just going to change and people are going to be recast and there's going to be different versions. Like, not only that, he also makes it not black and white finally. Like, it felt like it was very good versus bad for too long. And now it's like, no, there's some morally ambiguous shit everywhere in this universe.
As it should be. Yeah. And like James Gunn even said recently in an interview, or not recently, but like a few weeks ago, that he isn't, because I think he was asked at like a panel or something, like, how is all this going to connect? You know, where's the Justice League? What's going on? And he was like, look, for Justice League doesn't exist, right? Like, doesn't exist yet. And two, I'm not focused on Superman meeting Batman and then they recruit everybody and make a Justice League. I'm not worried about how this Superman movie connects to the Supergirl movie down the road. Yeah. I am focused and concerned on good stories, and if those stories fit into a wider universe, great. If they don't, then they're an Elseworld story.
And that's all we've ever wanted.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And like, the reason I hope that the HBO Max Green Lantern show is part of James Gunn's DC universe is only because I love the casting.
Yeah.
I want to see those actors on the big screen. Well, but if it's its own thing, that's fine too.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, honestly, to like retro a little bit further, like looking at Marvel and the state of where it is now, like the things that I've enjoyed that came out of it kind of wrapped up the stories of people whose stories weren't wrapped up in Endgame, right? Like, I really enjoyed Loki. I loved how that ended. That was great. I loved Agatha all along. Like, I love how that's going. I hope Agatha doesn't get roped into whatever gigantic. Like, I hope if she does, it's a fucking cameo. Like, that's it. Like, I hope she gets her own thing over there with, like, weird, not witch boy, but also, you know, like
Billy Maximoff.
Weird Billy Maximoff soul. Like, I hope they have, like, their own little thing. Like, that's fucking dope. And those are the things that I've enjoyed because they're separate. And so I think James Gunn also maybe has a little bit of that perspective. I hope he's able to maintain control of it. But Marvel kind of shot itself in the foot with Endgame and then going, and then it will continue. You know, and it's continued. Like, no, you could have ended it. And you could have started recasting, and you could have started saying, "Hey, we're gonna
the universe with like X-Men and Fantastic Four. All these characters we didn't get to see before could now be the new Captain America."
They could have restarted it as long as we didn't get the same origin story over again.
Oh god!
Like, because that's the one thing I get that Creature Commandos is kind of doing that, but I like the way that they're doing it, where it runs subsequently with the episode, and like they're kind of getting it out of the way so that if you go see it in movies, hopefully they're not just showing fucking flashbacks again. Because I really want like the audiences that are enjoying this to enjoy each piece of it, so that like you're not constantly going, and then remember he was framed, like, you know, like I really hope that like the people who know that Weasel was framed go into the next movie that Weasel's in going, yeah, and he was framed. And like people who are in there that didn't know that are like, whoa, that's different. That's a shock to me. You know? Yeah. I think I said never a lot. I never thought that I would be saying I'm really enjoying where DC's going.
You know what I'm excited to say for the first time in a long time?
What?
I'm actually super hopeful and excited for what DC has coming out.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good note to end on.
It is.
If you would like to hear more of our opinions about DC, possibly at your funeral, please email mysecretpoweris@gmail.com. I hope we get... You have to monitor the emails. I edit this podcast. You have to monitor them. Yes. You have to respond to email. You work from home. No. You work from home.
Yeah, but I have to log into the other Gmail account, and it's just a lot of work.
I hate you.